So this video is going to be for all my folks who don't own a proper Xyz deck, but still want to get all the gems from this terrible Xyz cup. So I'm going to be showing you some budget options, and the budget options I show you will most likely be able to build a better version of the deck that I show you, because I'm going off like minimal URs. Like I'm going off like as basically no UR crafts, and just assuming you have like URs from bundles and like structured decks and all that stuff. But you will most likely own, if you play the game for any amount of time, you probably have staples already. Like you probably have multiple copies of Maxi, multiple copies of Ash, multiple copies of Imperm, which I'm not including because technically those costs, those URs, you need to craft those. But I mean, if your account is like more than a few months old, then you probably already have those ready, and you can freely fit in any staples you have to fill out the deck space for the budget decks I showed you. And in order to get all the gems, you have to get to D level 19, which there's a couple problems with this, because between the start of this event up to D level 19, there are 2 ranks here where you can D rank and lose progress, which is one of them is D level 16, you can D rank down to D level 15 when you're going for D level 17, and then the other one is when you're at D level 18, you can rank down to D level 17 when you're trying to go for 19. You can, I don't know if you don't own an actual season, I don't know if you actually want to go for D level max. It's up to you, but obviously the gem rewards stop there, and it's another D ranking level that you have to deal with. So yeah, it's up to you. And we don't have any loner decks for this event, so we can't even take the easy way out by just playing that. And obviously the decks you play, because of the D ranking system, there's gonna have to be somewhat competent. You can't just like literally just quit and surrender every game where you lose the coin flip in, like at the regular event. So yeah, gotta love it. And these decks, I'm gonna try to focus on actual Xyz decks as well, because most likely there's gonna be missions that reward gems for you getting for you Xyz summoning. And you know what like you can go with burn or like some other random decks like Nemblaria or stuff that don't Xyz summon, but then if there's Xyz missions, then you're not gonna get all the gems anyway. So like, what's the point of going ham to D level 19 if you're gonna miss out gems from the missions anyways, right? So yeah. Anyways, enough rambling. Onto one of the budget decks, and like, just yes, this is Mother Swider OTK. Just full disclosure, it's not gonna be a super easy. It's not gonna be a free ride to D level 19. You are going to struggle. You may or may not D rank 1 or 2 times on the way there. Maybe you want to like wait until near the end of the event when everyone who's actually trying and playing real decks is starting to complete the event, and then you're only facing like more coughing babies. Then you can probably have a better time later in the event to try and climb with budget decks like this. But yeah, this is Mother Swider OTK, aka the TheDuelLogs Turbo. I'm sure if you've played some Xyz events in the past, you're familiar with what this deck does. Idea is essentially you blind second, you summon Mother Spider Splitter. You can special summon this if you control no monsters, and then when you sack it off, you get to summon 3 baby spiders. You sack off one of the spiders to make the other 2 level 10. Then you Xyz them into Ravenous Tarantula, and then you can either overlay a Pain Gainer on top of it or overlay a 7 Sins over it, and you detach. Use the baby spider's engrave effect to detach Ravenous Tarantula and then summon it back from the grave. And then because that baby spider, that effect costs you half your life points, so then you'll be at 4k, and then Ravenous Tarantula, your monsters gain attack for a difference between your life points and your opponents. So you can have like an 8k Ravenous Tarantula plus like or you have a 4k Ravenous Tarantula plus an 8k 7 Sins, and that's pretty much going to be an OTK against most things. So yeah, it's really simple, really straightforward, really easy to tell if you're gonna be able to win the game or not. And Ravenous Tarantula and Pain Gainer, these can double as monster removal. They can this destroys cards that have less defense than this, and this destroys monsters that have less attack than this. And because you're gonna be at 4k less than your opponent, and these are gonna have huge stat lines, so where you can pretty much blow up anything with a stat line, and which is gonna be every card in this event because link monsters don't exist, so you can actually just have full board wipes. But yeah, not having links is kind of annoying, because then you can't before Resident Insect plus any instant extender was also full combo into Mother Spider Splitter, but because we don't have Beach Armor Core and all that stuff, I'm getting a bit more wild with with this list. So yeah, the 3 Maxi, I know Maxi is a card you have to craft. I assume you have Maxi by now, but if you for some miraculous reason do not have access to 3 Maxis, that's honestly fine. You can just put more board breakers in, like more whatever board breakers you have, like even Forbidden Droplets, even though Droplet isn't that great against Cashier, but you have other ways to do with Cashier. You can play more Kaijus. It is what it is. You could run if you have Crossout Designator, if you have other hand traps, like you can put out Crossout Designator and then put like a Maxi or put in like an Ash and an Inperm for crossout targets. Like these are like the Maxis are honestly the slot that least matters in this deck. Yeah, 3 Baby Spider and 3 Mother Spider Splitter is necessary, and 3 Kaijus. So this is 2 things. One, this is a small world bridge for any monster. You have all of these are insects, so you can just bridge anything into Godarla, and then that lets you bridge into Mother Spider Splitter. So there's that. Also, Pearly, Kashira, Exo Sister, yeah, tell them to go eat it by just giving them this fucking mosquito. Just drop this on their field, turn off their field, and kill them from there. 3 Resonance Insect. So this searches Mother Spider Splitter in a weird way, in that Dark Hole plus Resonance Insect is actually full combo. It's like you set your Resonance Insect, then you Dark Hole your Resonance Insect, clears their board, then you get to search Mother Spider Splitter, and because you cleared your own board, you also can just straight up summons and then go from there. It's also Insect Imitation on Resonance Insect gets you your Mother Spider Splitter, and if they remove it for some reason, you can also search the second Mother Spider Splitter. And yeah, Resonance Insect can also search Godarla too, if you somehow if they somehow let you resolve your Resonance Insect to search a Kaiju, that's on them. Gokipole is honestly, this card's kind of bad to draw, but it does pair with Twin Twisters, so that when you ditch this off Twin Twisters, you get to search, you get to dump. If this card's in the grave, you can add 1 level 4 insect monster from deck to your hand. So you can add a Resonance Insect, or you can add Big Insect, and then you can summon Big Insect, and then special it, and then pop a big ass monster on their field. So, that's utility right there. It's also something you put in for Foolish Burial and Goldsark. Again, if you don't have Foolish Burial and Goldsark, it's not a big deal. You just cut down on the Gokipoles, and you can run more board breakers. You can run like what are those cards called? Yeah, Rescue Ace. Where is it? Impulse for Fire Attacker. That way you are blinding second, so you're usually gonna be able to trigger Rescue Ace Impulse, and then you can get the draw Fire Attack to draw 2 additional cards. Which is a funny thing is you can also Rescue Attack or Fire Attacker on your opponent's turn. If you do resolve it, you can draw 2, and then you can discard Gokipole, and Gokipole search Big Insect, special Big Insect, and pop your opponent's monster during their turn. Which is that is a classic play. I've done that quite a bit in other low power events, and it's quite humorous, and it's honestly one of the best forms, probably the best hand trap you can do in this format. So it's not bad. It's another option you can run if you don't have all of these URs, which I think most people already have. But if you don't, then there's that. Also, if you own Thrust, obviously Thrust is good, but this is a budget deck, and Thrust is definitely not budget. Raigeki, this 1 copy of Raigeki is free. Honestly, Dark Hole is better than Raigeki, just because Dark Hole combos with Resonance Insect, whereas Raigeki is just a board wipe. That's doesn't work against Prey, but it works in everything else. Duster, it's Duster. You can run if you don't have Duster, you can run Hate Runade. It's probably just as good. It's not like there's many problematic floodgates in this format. 1 Lightning Storm, because this is from the bundle. If you have more copies of Lightning Storm, obviously you can run more Lightning Storm. Tactics, if you this is from the bundle. Obviously, if you own more copies of Tactics, you can run more Tactics. I didn't include Droplets because Droplet doesn't work when your opponent is on Cashier and they have a Rise Heart. But if you are looking for cards to fill out your deck, and you can run Droplets too. Yeah, triple Small World and Insect and Pace are consistency. Twin Twisters again, cheap backroom removal, and it combos with Gokipole. And double Called By. I think most people have Called By now, but mainly this is so that your Mother Spider Splitter doesn't get destroyed by Ash. And yeah, That's pretty much it. The main core of all of this stuff is like all SR and below. It's just the random staples that are UR that you can switch out depending on what you have. And the extra deck, none of this stuff actually matters. The only stuff that matters are the three number 77, the 7 sins, 3 pain gainer, and 3 ravenous tarantula, because you don't want to banish all of them off of extravagance, and then like nothing else. You really don't need to go into any of these. If you go into Zeus in this game, in this deck, you're probably losing because that something went horribly wrong, and you're definitely not killing your opponent there, and you're living on a Zeus and a prayer, which is definitely not enough in the format like this. But yeah, I guess I can briefly show, if you're not familiar with this, I can briefly show how the OTK works. It's pretty simple. Oh yeah, and a word of note on, I guess people are gonna bring up Xyz's Encore. So this is a very good anti-Pearly tech. You would basically, if they have an E-Pearly Noir, and they didn't hard make their X-Pearly Noir, then you can just draw phase this, target their E-Pearly Noir, they can't respond to this, and then detach both materials and summon back their monster from the grave, and remove their E-Pearly Noir. That way, they don't have a target for Yeep, so they can't go into X-Pearly Noir, and they don't get the draws from the Sleepy Memory during the standby phase as well. So, against Pearly, yes, this is great. I don't particularly like this against any other deck. Even against Cashier, right? Like, suppose they have a Rise Heart, right? I mean, here's the thing. You can, like, detach a Rise Heart and put the Rise Heart back, but then they get the summon back Defender anyways, and then it's like, you need a board wipe to play through that with this deck as well. Like, it's honestly pretty hard to OTK through a Fender live on the field, but I suppose it's okay against Kashtira some of the time. Also, but if they're good enough and they also make double Rise Heart, then this also doesn't do anything against double Rise Heart, because, you know, obvious reasons. And also, it doesn't really work if they have prep. A lot of the time, but I mean, it's weird. And against Exo Sisters, which is like the other most common Xyz deck you might play against, this is actually just not that good at all, because all this does is you special summon, you like target a Magnificent, and you special summon, then they special summon back the Michaelis, and they still get the banish on your turn. So you just traded 1 card for 1 ban. It's like you basically used an Imperm on their Magnifica. That's it. It's not really that strong interaction in my opinion. But if you really hate Pearly, and you know, if you think you're just gonna play 90% Pearly, then yeah, go ahead, put Xyz's Encore in there. Okay, very simply, this is how the Mother Spider OTK goes. So you have your Mother Spider, you sack it, get these 3 out, and then use one of these effects, tribute this one, and then make the other 2 level 10. These 2 go into Ravenous Tarantula. And here you can go into like a Pain Gainer if you want to like pop their card, so you can like go Pain Gainer here. And you can like pop a card. Yeah, it pops their monsters, and you go into 7 Sins. And here you use your Baby Spider Engrave, detach the Ravenous Tarantula, and then special back the Ravenous Tarantula. This plays around Crows, funnily enough, but yeah. Now you have 4K and 8K. So yeah, there's your game. You clear their board. The one Mother Spider clears their board, because there's no link monster, so your monsters will always be able to Raigeki the field, and then you can attack directly, and then you have like 12k damage on board. So yeah, that's it. Okay, very simple. Of course, you know we gotta talk about the sus hips themselves, and yeah, this is the budget deck for any Xyz based events, and honestly, you don't even need this maxi. You know, if you don't have maxi, just drop these maxis and go down to 40 cards. It's fine. Obviously, I would expect you to own maxi if you are playing Master Duel seriously, but you know, you don't actually need any URs in this deck whatsoever. So Yeah, this is a blind second again because blind second looks like it's probably the way to go budget wise for this event. So, yeah, you have access to a lot of different board breakers. As I've shown here, UR and non-UR related, so you can use whatever staples you have to fill up the deck, and then the main core is literally just like you just need some kind of core that allows you to OTK after breaking your opponent's board with board breakers, and there's a lot of them available that are SR rarity and below, like the Mother Spider I showed you previously, but also the Gunkin Suship. And yeah, one of the ways you're gonna do this is just classic rank 4 Xyz, double or nothing. And yeah, Utopia, don't worry about it. Utopia is from a structure deck, so if you just want a Utopia, you know, you can just spend 500 gem to get the Utopia from the structure deck, and then you're settled. You're set for the Utopia double OTK. There's also another OTK that involves the second most common way you're gonna probably OTK is it's involving Gunkin Suship Ikura class. So this gets the effect of this has a Gunkin Suship Ikura, which is I believe this one as a material. It can make a second attack during each battle phase. So yeah, that's another way to just push through damage. We're running I'm maxing out on a Suship ratios. I don't know if it's correct to max out on all of these, but you know, Suship experts, let me know if you would cut down on any of these. This is a budget build after all, so I'm not including like some more. I know like high end Suship builds, whatever the hell that means. Like, you know, the high quality sushi doesn't run max copies of all the ships, but I don't know if you can get away with that in a lower budget build. And triple unexpected die and triple painful decision, just so you always have Gunkin Suship starting access. And yeah, Herald of the Abyss. Like, Herald of the Abyss is a really good card. It hits all three Xyz decks, all three main Xyz decks that you expect to face: Pearly, Kashira, and Exosister relatively hard, and it isn't out to expertly Noir, and it doesn't even give your opponent a monster to block your attacks with like you do Kaiju. So I think this is the best one to run. Obviously, if you have Thrust, you know, go ahead and run Thrust too, just to get more access to Herald of the Abyss. I know this is a hard once per turn, but if you have this card against one of those Xyz decks, you're most likely Gucci. You can do something with your plays. And yeah, the board breakers here, like Raigeki is free, Dark Hole is a super rare, Duster is, you do have to craft this, so if you don't have Duster, it's fine. It's, you know, there's plenty of spell trap remove available, like Lightning Storm. You have more copies of Lightning Storm, that's good. You can replace the copies of Twin Twister I'm putting in as a budget for that, you know, with more copies of Lightning Storm if you happen to own those. Triple Tactics Talon is decent. If you happen to have more tactics, then you can run more of this as well. And yeah, so 3 Gunkin Suship continuous spells and 1 of the field spell, because this is a low-end budget build. So, and we are running a ton of Suship names, so it makes this a bit better if you can always have Gunkin Suship to add off of this. You don't have to worry about sending this to the grave. And the field spell, I saw people run this. I don't actually know exactly what this is for, but I assume it's important. You know, Gunkin Suship the field spell. There's yeah, it has a synergy with this Xyz. I don't know how often that comes up, but you know, I guess it's also a secondary search target. If you already have the continuous spell, you can go for the field spell. And the extra deck is like the Zeus and Typhon shouldn't matter. You shouldn't need these because you're kind of a blind second OTK deck, and if you're not OTK, then it's gonna be rough on you if you have to go into these. Yeah, you have 3, 1 of each of the Suships. I don't think the Suships aren't actually the most important Xyz to go into, honestly, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, 1 Vespacito, just a way to push more damage. Dugaris, yeah, Dugaris plus Ikura is also an OTK. If you can get the 2 rank 4 Xyz, this Dugaris bumps Ikura to 4400, and then Ikura attacks twice, so that's 8800, which is, you know, do the math, that's game. Magic Key Spear Vipartu, this has a funny effect where you can add 1 level 4 or lower, or normal. If this card succeeds, then you can detach 1 material from this card, add 1 level 4 or lower, or higher, or monster from deck to your hand, or graveyard to your hand, so you can add a Suship Shari if you need it that way. Also, if this has a normal material as a normal monster material, aka it has a Gunkin Suship Shari as a material, it if it battles with the monster of the same attribute, then you can make them send it to the grave. Although this is a fire, so I don't know. I don't know what fire you're trying to send to the grave, like if I can Kashtira Rise Heart. I don't know. I feel like there's not going to be many Snake Eyes this format, so yeah, maybe this is not really the most useful Xyz this format, but yeah. Baguska, and then you have the Utopias, and then you have the 4 Zodiac monsters. So this is like very worst case scenario where you have to make a Zeus. You can at least make a big Zeus. So like you can go up to a 6 material Zeus. So you use 2 materials to go into Chakanai number 1, and then you overlay like a Hammercon over it, then you overlay a Borbro over it, and you should be at like 5 materials, I think. Like the 2 under Chakanai plus Chakanai plus, so that's 3, and then Hammercon's the 4th material, and then Borbro is the 5th material. Then you attack directly, and then you can overlay a second Chakanai on that stack, because the first Chakanai you didn't use the effect to overlay on top of the Zodiac monster. You just hard made it with a 2 level 4s. So you can overlay a second Chakanai over the stack that has the original Chakanai that you just hard made normally, and then that gets you just 6 material Zeus. So worst case scenario, you make a 6 material Zeus. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know if this is better than the Mother Spiral DK, but you know, if people are going to be asking for like a Suship build, and like this is probably one of the most basic builds you can get for Suship, and I think you know, depending on what time you queue, you can definitely get all the gems using this deck. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So we have a deck that actually prefers to go first this time, which is Sharks. Now this is the most basic ass cookie cutter build of Sharks that you can make. This doesn't have any of the bells and whistles, so you see there's plenty of other options here where if you own specific URs that actually make this deck a lot better and gives you more options, but I'll go over those later. And of course, I know the non-engine looks weird. There's like 2 Xyz Encoders, 1 Veiler, 1 Ash, 1 Inperm, 1 Droplet, 1 Tactics, 1 Judgment. That's because again, I'm trying to you know, get as low on the UR count as possible, and these are all bundles. Obviously, you have triple Ash, you're gonna run triple Ash, and if you have a triple Infirm, you're gonna run triple Infirm. You know, you can easily see which cards you would cut for 3 Ash, 3 Infirm, and then possibly, you know, 3 Veiler. If you want to play Droll, you want to, if you have like want to play more copies of Tactics, more copies of Droplet, although I wouldn't recommend Droplet because again, the Kashtira is in this format, and a Rise Heart is not really. I would probably cut Droplets for more copies of Infirm if you happen to own them. But yeah, you're even if you build this basic ass build, your deck is gonna look a lot better because you're gonna have better staples than I showed here. But just throwing that out there. And yeah, this is like 3 Buzzsaw Shard. This is the best starter in your deck. It gets you any level 4 shark from your deck, and then you can make a rank 4 XD, which is probably going to be Stealth Kragen, to be honest. This is going to assume that you have Stealth Kragen. Now, Stealth Kragen is very common now. Not only is it from the Legacy pack, it's also from Duelist Cup packs. I think everyone should own at least 1, if not 2, or even more Stealth Kragens in their arsenal now if they've been playing any of the recent events that gave away, you know, secret pack tickets, or like whatever like the DC Cup and the World Championship Qualifier Cup tickets. Those all have Kragen in it, and also like if you don't have Kragen by now from the Legacy pack, like Kragen has been in the Legacy pack for bait pretty much since the start of Master Duel. So you've had like there's like plenty of chances to get this. If you didn't have this, like yeah, I guess you know that's unlucky, and I guess you can't play this deck. So unfortunate right there. And Lifeless Leaf Fish. So this just dumps Crystal Shark, and then Crystal Shark revives itself, and then Crystal Shark plus Lifeless Leaf Fish is also another 1 card rank 4 Xyz. So you have Kragen, and like Kragen is like pretty decent. It's alright. Like if you can stick it, it's kind of hard for some opponents to deal with. Like against Pearly, you can just chain it to whenever they try to use their Xyz summon effect. This does not target, so Pearly's tree does not protect them. Against Kashira, like you can pop their on special, you can pop like a unicorn, or you can like chain to a Theosis, then that's like pretty nice value right there. Also, if you ever draw a Gozen match, you're gonna like probably win the game, because then you have Gozen plus Stealth Kraken turning all of your opponent's monsters into water types, and I don't think there's many water attribute decks right now unless you somehow miraculously play against the Shark Mirror match, you know. Well, yeah, that kind of sucks, but you know, what are the chances of that happening, right? And Abyss Shark is the best extender. Basically, if you control any, as long as you only control water monster, you special this, and then you can add any level 3, 4, or 5 fish from your deck to your hand. So you can add Angler as another extender. You can add a copy of Crystal Shark if you if you already have Angler. You can if you already have a water monster field and you didn't use your normal summon, i.e. you have Shafana, you can go special Shafana, special Abyss Shark, add Buzzsaw Shark, and you can normal summon the Buzzsaw Shark, and you can end on like multiple Kragens in the field. And multiple Kragens is actually still decently hard to deal with this format, as long as you don't get Herald of the Abyss on their Stealth Kraken. That actually, Herald of the Abyss on Stealth Kraken fucking blows. That, I'm not gonna lie, that's like one of the worst things in the world. That's like worse than getting your X-Pearly Gnar. Like Herald of the Abyss. So maybe that's kind of an issue right there. But you know, Xyz Remora is when if you really high roll and if you already have everything, you can search this off of Abyss Shark, and then you can detach off of the Stealth Kraken and then summon 2 more materials. Then you can get 3 more level 4 bodies in the field and you can use those for whatever you want. Of note, the only thing that water locks you in this build particularly is Abyss Shark. I think nothing else actually water locks you, so you can make non-water Xyz as long as you don't go through the Abyss Shark. So yeah, and Right Hand Shark, it's an extender with Foolish Burial, and with Bloodsaw Shark you can get this from the deck, and then you have an unkillable Kragen, or you can have an unkillable Crooked Cook. Okay, honestly, Crooked Cook is so fake, this format. It's like unbelievably fake. When you have a format where the best decks are either making towers or you're making a floodgate like a Rise Heart and stuff like that, people are gonna have outs to towers, right? They're gonna have kaijus, or they're gonna have like fucking what's it called? Herald of the Abyss. I think Herald of the Abyss. Pretty sure Herald of the Abyss does out Crooked Cook. So like this is unaffected by other cards effect, but I'm pretty sure Herald of the Abyss makes you send it yourself, so like it bypasses Crooked Cook. This card is really fake. Do not try to win games sitting on Crooked Cook unless you literally don't have other options. Like that's this is just bait. It's never gonna work. Baguska is did I get to the extra deck already, or did I cover the main deck? So Desires, Foolish Burial Goods. This is for Ice Bearer. Ice Bearer can search either Abyss Shark or it can search Gamma Seal, so that's nice. Even though Ice Bearer is kind of a brick, it's not the worst because you can set it, and then when your opponent's attack, you can negate their effects and turn their attack to 0, and it doesn't stop the attack, so you know they can just end up crashing into your Ice Bearer. And then as soon as you activate Ice Bearer, then it's live, and you can use it as you can use its Rota effect. You can dump one of these and then add them back from the grave, stuff like that. Yeah, well, you double or nothing because you know you're playing a pretty janky deck, so if you can cheese wins just with Utopia double, go for it. Double Xyz Encore again, because I'm not. This should be more copies of Infirm. Like if you Xyz Encore should be just other staples that you own. But if you have the absolute minimum amount of staples and only have bundles, then yeah, you can use Xyz Encore as like a way to kill Pearly when he goes well, just kill Pearly in general. Then you have Called Bys and Crossouts. Again, if you don't have these, you should get them if you're playing Master Duel, but yeah, you can be replaced by like a third Xyz Encore, and you can run like stuff like Chalice, I suppose. And yeah, Judgment is from a bundle. Goes in Match plus Kragen. One of the few very strong win conditions that this deck has. Unfortunately, Goes in Match is limited, so you're not really gonna get this often. Maybe you could consider running Prosperity as well, just as another way to dig for Goes in Match, because it's the best card in your deck, and it's not like you have a lot of things in your extract that you care about. Extract Grand Pulse. This is like spell and trap removal. You can make this with actually, you can't even make this. Why the hell is this here? Yeah, no, that's pointless. 14 card extra deck, baby. Yeah, none of the. Yeah, forget Grand Pulse in here. So yeah, Utopia's for the and double for Utopia double. Ragna Zero. Very funnily enough, there's a lot of decks in here that modulate their attack. So if Kashtira has their field spell, then all of their monsters can attack, and then Ragna Zero is like free real estate. Pop their monsters, draw a card. Against Pearly, anything equipped with any Xyz with what's it called? Delicious Memory is Ragna Zero material, although you probably don't want to do that because then they're gonna get the shit back from my friend. But yeah, Woven Shard, this basically just gains a lot of attack when you attack with this card, and it's a level 4 water Xyz, so that's relevant. Laguska, you get max seed, I suppose. Baguska is honestly pretty potent, but you kind of gotta win the game after Baguska in your opponent. That's kind of a problem this deck has, so don't rely on this. And yeah, as many copies of Kragen as you have, and as many copies of Kragen spawn correspondingly with the stuff. This card's actually really nice as long as it doesn't get spinned, which unfortunately most forms of removal right now is not destruction based in the Xyz Festival. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that this. Like, if their Omni Negates are more popular, Stealth Kragen plays very well into Omni Negates. Like, Stealth Kragen, you make this into like a Baron, and this absolutely destroys Baron. Like, it's nothing. Unfortunately, you can't. Unfortunately, it works way less well into a copy of a Rise Heart or like Expertly Nars, because they all spin and banish and shit. So that's unfortunate. But this is a budget deck, so you do what you gotta do, and the Typhon Zeus stuff, which you probably won't go into very often, and it's not very needed to have 2 of these anyways. And again, I mentioned upgrades, so if you have Utopic Draco Future, you can consider and Bahamut Shark. I know it's like not very common to have both of these together, so I didn't include it, but Bahamut Shark is a 1-card Utopic Draco Future. Use Bahamut Shark, summon this, summon like a Riberian Shark, then you overlay full armor Black Ring Lance on top of it, then you overlay these Bahamut Shark plus the Lancer into Utopic Future, then you have a UDF right there. So that's an option to have if you somehow have these. And the other UR water Xyz aren't honestly that important. You have Sign Honor, which is just worse than Kragen most of the time, and then you have the Abyss Dweller, which Abyss Dweller, honestly, the relevant effect is that it gives your monsters 500 attack. I don't think the Abyss Dweller effect on the grave is very relevant in a format where Pearly, a Kashtira, and like fucking Exorcist are very common. Then you have the Nash Knight package, so if you have the rank 5 package, then you can go into rank 5s as well, like Sign Honor, Dark, and Nash Knight, and Xyz Nash Knight, so that's another option to consider if you're a Shark player. And then of course the Armored Xyz package. You need full armor Dark Knight Lancer. This is the payoff for the engine, so that's why this is a UR, that's why I didn't include it. But if you happen to have this, then you can do the Armored Xyz package too. And if you're gonna do that, I recommend running a Dugaris, because Dugaris is the best way to get Xyz materials off of your Xyz Armor Fortress, so that you can actually Xyz something with this card. And Dugaris, again, the only thing that locks you is Abyss Shark, so you can go into Dugaris, and even despite it not being a water monster. So yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This is it should be okay. It's not gonna be great, but it should be okay. And again, these are just the high end stuff. This is the main deck and the extract right here. Very budget. Alright, so this deck's gonna be kind of a premium when it comes to budget decks, because this this deck actually does require a few URs, so it's, you know, if you don't own Spright cards, just ignore this. Just you don't have to watch this part of the video, and if you're not interested in Spright, then like you don't have to craft Spright for this. If you own Spright cards, there's a very effective just blind second OTK strategy with that you can just do with Spright if you just want to get it done with early. But because you need the 2 Spright blue and the 1 gigantic, that's honestly all you need. If you for some reason don't have Spright elf, that's fine, because you know links are banned, so it's not like that you make use of it. You don't even need the gigantic Spright. If you just happen to have a few Spright cards lying around, this is it. Now yeah, this isn't a true budget no UR needed deck, so yeah, I got, you know, clickbait yada yada, but yeah, basically you just run all the board breakers you have, all of the whatever staples you have, you know. So triple Herald of the Abyss, if you have triple Thrust goes crazy in this deck, because Thrust can search everything. You can search Foolish Burial to dump Nimble Angler, which gets you basically your full combo. It can do not thrust for Perry Rice Map, please don't do that. This card, the first line of text, don't do that. But you can thrust for any of your other board breakers, and obviously the big deal is you can thrust for Herald of the Abyss, which then outs anything problematic you want. You can it's very good. Herald of the Abyss is honestly very good against the top 3 Xyz decks. You know, Expertly Noir, self-explanatory. Hashira Rise Heart, self-explanatory, and what's it called? Exo Sister. So you can just call it Exo. Wait, let me check for a second. So Magnifica is a warrior, and oh yeah, this destroys. This destroys Exo Sister, bro. Herald of the Abyss, called Light Warrior. Magnifica, they either let the Magnifica die, or they chain Magnifica to summon back one of their Xyz, which then just continues to die anyway. So it just removes their entire interaction, and then they don't have Returning Alive. Yeah, Herald of the Abyss is great. You consider just running 3 of this anyways. Or if you don't own Thrust, you can run Kaiju's. It is what it is. Like it's obviously you're blinding second, but then so beside the synergy, besides just the Spright monsters, are Dark Beckoning Beast with Piri Rise. So Piri Rise Map is a budget way to search Dark Beckoning Beast. You can use Nightmare Throne as well. Yeah, where's the Nightmare Throne? Yeah, this also searches Dark Beckoning Beast, and it's honestly better because 1, it's not locked to the very first action of main phase 1, and 2, it doesn't cost life points. So, you know, when you're going for Ninja Shadow Mosquito OTKs, you really can't do that if you activate Piri Rise Map, but you can still do that if you activate Nightmare Throne. So, yeah, and the Dark Beckoning Beast, cool thing is it searches Opening the Spirit Gates. Opening the Spirit Gates, you can discard to get an extender, and also the discard triggers Nimble Angler. On top of Twin Twisters also works with Nimble Angler. So you have like this is the reason why I'm running the Nimble package. So 1, I want more starters. You know, you gotta open when you blind second and you like break your opponent's board. You have to open at least a few level 2 monsters in order to actually be able to kill your opponent. But yeah, Twin Twister plus Nimble Angler or Dark Beckoning Beast with Opening Spirit Gates, discard Nimble Angler is just free real estate. You can, the world is your oyster. If you resolve that, you will have an infinite amount of bodies to play with, and you should definitely be able to kill your OTK opponent there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, you have Dark Hole, you have Regeki, you have that's right, running the 2 Sunfish as the additional targets for Nimble Angler, that stuff. If you have better, obviously, like you have more copies of Tactics, you know, more copies of Tactics are good, more copies of Lightning Storm are also good. If you have, like, if you run around Cross Out, that's an option too. But yeah, this is like the rewards required are Spright Blue and Gigantic Spright, and everything else is like whatever you have. The extra deck, mostly none of this stuff really matter. A lot of this stuff does not matter. Like E for Leonor, this is generic. It's a generic bounce, but like honestly, you're never gonna do that. Zeus, you probably don't want to go into Zeus or Typhon because that means you're not OTKing your opponent, and if you're not OTKing your opponent, you're probably losing the game. So this is just like randomly there. Ninja Shadow Mosquito, if you can't get the Gamma Burst OTK, sometimes they have just like a huge like endless conga line of assholes on board that you just can't get over. Then you can just use this as your OTK method. Daigusto Phoenix, target itself, attack twice, not really I mean, it does push more damage to Gamma Burst, but usually that's not needed. Dark Mist gets over any problematic monster. Jin Buster, probably, I mean, you run a lot of Dark level 2s in this build, but also, like, when you're going second, so this isn't really that useful. Maybe you can use this as extra Nibiru insurance. Ronin Raccoon, if your opponent has like a big ass monster in the field, you can start with Ronin Raccoon and just get a free, huge token first, and then like wait, is that how this token works? You just that was special summon one Kragens Raccoon token, becomes equal attack to the current attack of the monster in the field that has the highest attack. Okay, yeah, so yeah, you get a big ass token for free attack points. Yeah, Centauria, bounce your opponent's shit back, non-targeting. Cat Shark. Cat Shark on a 3200 gigantic gives you a 6400 gigantic, and then plus like Cam versus gives you a 7800 gigantic. So you can technically run over basically anything in the game. This just turns something to zero, turns any monster to 0 attack and negates their effect. Mannequin Cat, pretty good if your opponent has viable targets, especially dark monsters. You can search out any Spright monster from your deck. And Soul Sweeper just clears the field. Yeah, this is. Yeah, if you have your Spright cards, but you don't have any other Xyz deck, you can undust them and like bring them out for this Xyz Cup. Well, these are just some of the budget ideas that I've looked around and I came up with. Now, if you guys have any ideas for more budget decks for this Xyz Cup, please let me know in the comments. Now, ideally, hopefully, those are decks that involve Xyz summoning in some way, because if there's an Xyz summon mission, then you'd obviously, if you're gonna play a budget deck in an attempt to get all the gems anyways, then you might as well play one that also can fulfill a hypothetical Xyz summon mission, right? But yeah, again, let me know in the comments. I'd love to have more ideas, and feel free to if you got this far in the video, go check down in the comments too, and check out what other people have came up with for this event too. And if you're not one of these down mad players and you actually own a real Xyz deck, go check out the other video I did that actually showcases all the best Xyz decks, legitimate real Xyz decks that you can use for this cup.